Well, hello everyone, this is Joe Drums coming to you. I hope everybody out there is staying safe, doing awesome. I'm doing awesome, staying safe myself. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about drumsticks. Old drumsticks, new drumsticks, current drumsticks, sticks from the famous drummers. We're going to be talking all about that today, so let's check it out now. Okay, so here we are. I have quite a few different drumsticks that I've collected over the years. Some of them I've used, some of them not used. Just kind of, they're just, you know, a little bit too sentimental, I guess you could say. But one of the first ones I wanted to talk about was back in the day. I don't know what year these were, but Neil Peart had been using Promark for many years. And the Promark company, they always used that Japanese oak because it's a real hardwood. And these were called the 747s. And they used to have this red and black band. I'll kind of show you right there, as you can see, and it's got his name on them as well. And Neil used to use these exclusively, and that was kind of his go-to drumstick. And over the years, of course, you know, they made special ones. I also have, I'm going to put these down here. They had ones from the 30th anniversary, so here's the 30th anniversary. I have the 40th anniversary around here somewhere. I collected all of them, you know, I've got them all. But here's what they look like. And again, they still stayed with the Japanese oak over the years, and that was kind of his stick of choice. So these are really nice to have. If you don't have any, 747s are actually my go-to stick now. This is what I use. Not just because of Neil. They just feel real good in my hands. I like the Japanese oak. It lasts a lot longer. So yeah, it's really good. Because most sticks nowadays are made from hickory. And for me, hickory doesn't seem to last as long as the oak. So obviously oak's a lot harder, denser wood. And so that it lasts a lot longer for me, and because I hit the rim quite a bit. Cymbals, I don't know. Sometimes cymbals can cause the chips and stuff, but mostly it's the snare drum for me. I've got some really strange ones too, so bear with me with those. One of the first ones I want to show you that's kind of bizarre was, now these don't work anymore because there was a battery inside these. And there's really no name brand on these, although it says, well, I guess there is a name brand on it. It says Rappisarda Star 2B patented pending. They had these little kind of screws that are at the bottom of it, and this would turn it on or turn off the light up sticks. They would turn red, as you can kind of see here in the camera. I'm going to hold them up there. They don't work anymore. In fact, what happened was they basically made two, a top and a bottom, and they glued it together, and they put all the wires and stuff inside. Well, after a while, you can see here it cracked. And so not a really great design at all. It wasn't really that fabulous, but they did last for a long time. I did use them for maybe 5 or 6 months, and then they ended up cracking. But it was a really good idea. Maybe down the road they'll make some, you know, some better ones, but I haven't seen them. They used to make these ones called light-up sticks right here. And I actually got these from a drum student a long time ago from Disney World. There's her Walt Disney drumsticks. They're clear and they light up. Again, I don't have batteries. They ran out. That's what happens with these light-up sticks. The batteries run out, and then you end up with just kind of a pair of acrylic drumsticks. So I'll put those over here. But the other ones that they came out with were acrylic as well. These were made by, it said Whamrod. These I don't think you can get anymore. I've used them quite a few times. What ended up happening, as you can see here, they bend. So when you're playing on these were originally made, I don't know if you guys know this, but back in the old days of, you know, 80s, the 1980s, when electronic drums were coming out with these hard plexiglass tops to them. And basically what would happen is if you hit a drumstick, it was solid against solid, and it ended up a lot of drummers getting like tennis elbow, you know, like when a tennis player plays and he kind of gets that elbow having some problems. Well, drummers were having that same problem by hitting a real hard surface. And so that's what these were for. They kind of gave a little bit. But you can't use these on a regular drum set because when you hit it on a regular drum head, it just bounces even more, and it feels like it feels too rubbery. They almost feel like rubber in your hands, and after a while, it's just not a really good feel to me. And I'm used to a nice wood drumstick that doesn't give, and these kind of give. So sometimes if you get these for gifts or whatever, people don't know the difference. But that's originally what these were. Now these were not light up sticks. These were just regular, you know, sticks that were used for kind of electronic drums, and then later on people started using them for acoustic drums. So that's another variation of the acrylics. So then next we got these are kind of interesting. These were 5A American Hickory Promark. They call it Power Grip. I'll show you what these are. These are black, and as you can see right here, yeah, it's kind of like a sandpapery kind of feel to it. It's got some type of paint, and it was more lacquered at the top here, so more of a shininess. The only thing I didn't like about these was they would leave marks. Anytime you get black sticks tend to leave marks on drum heads and cymbals, and I stopped using these after a while. So I maybe used them maybe once or twice for a couple of shows, and I barely even nicked them. There's a couple nicks in them, but that's basically it. So that's the Promarks. And again, they had that same black and red band on them as well. So kind of interesting. You don't see that anymore. Next ones, these are made by Vader. These are actually the Stuart Copeland, if I can pronounce that right. Stuart Copeland, I'm sorry. Slip of the tongue. Basically, this was I don't know what size, I guess it would be like a 5A kind of feel to them. And I'll show you what they look like, the label on it, so you can kind of see here. And so Stuart Copeland used these. These were kind of nice. Again, I didn't use them. In fact, some of the artists that I'm going to be mentioning in here, some of these ones I never even used. I just kind of kept them because they were kind of, you know, iconic. So these are the kind of sticks that Stuart Copeland would use, and I thought that was kind of cool. So that's those. Next ones are Stanton Moore. Now these are made by Vic Firth, and again, it's got a very pointy tip on the end there. And Stanton Moore is an awesome drummer. Met him a few years back. Here's again, these are Hickory Sticks by Vic Firth. So that's what they look like there. So these are really cool. Again, didn't use these because, again, artists. And now these are cool. I don't know if you can buy these anymore. But Jason Bonham, actually, these are made by Zildjian. No size, but they kind of look like a 2B maybe. Between a 2B and a 5B, kind of like what John Bonham used. And so that's what these are right here. Kind of show you, as you can see. And it's got that logo. Jason Bonham had some albums, and that was kind of the logo that he was using on the albums at the time when these came out. So again, I did use these a little bit. They kind of wore out at the hand part right there where I hold them. But that's those. Next ones these are from Zildjian. They're called the Thunder God by Def Leppard Rick Allen. So obviously Def Leppard's drummer Rick Allen. These are the sticks that he had used. Again, kind of a little bit of a pointier end, kind of beefier stick, kind of like a 5B or a 2B. And again, there's the logo on them. Alright, and let's do next. Here's an interesting one. This is kind of like these are called rock knockers. And obviously you can see there's like a little plastic black tip. These are made by Promark and with a red band. And here's what the logo, these are Japanese oak again. and they were called rock knockers. And the reason why they called them rock knockers is because it was kind of like playing at the end of the stick with the other ends. So a lot of drummers started using the ends like this, and this is plastic, so they ended up breaking. That's not how you're supposed to use them. That's the end that you're supposed to hold. So you hold them like this, and then you play with the end, so it looks like the end of the drumstick, and like the tip's supposed to be down here, but it's not. This is actually the tip. So that's kind of interesting. And again, these were made by Promark. They're called the New Generations. I don't know if they still make these, but again, here they are in all their glory. I did use these quite a bit for a while, because one of the things, I don't know if you guys knew this, if you know Neil Peart like I know Peart, Neil Peart would actually play sometimes and flip the stick around and play with the opposite end. And he would play with the butt end when he wanted, you know, a heavier sound, and when he wanted a lighter or a nice crisp tight sound, he would use the tip of the stick. And so they figured, well, let's just make a pair of sticks with the end on them, and we'll just make it like it's, you know, like it's turned around, but yet they don't have to do that. They don't have to turn them around. Next one, these are some of my favorites. Now, I don't know if they may still have these around. I got these a few years ago, but these are the Keith Moon Vic Firth drumsticks. Again, here's the logo on these. And these are cool. Of course, not playing on these. These are something that I'm going to keep, more of a keepsake thing. So that's those. These are kind of weird. Now, these are come out by a company, let's see, what's the company called? Vera Stick, I think they're called. The original aluminum drumsticks. So these are actually aluminum. And here's kind of the look of the paper on it. And they have like a weird end. They're hollow. So, and they have like a white tip on them. They almost look like a magic wand. So, like, you know, you could do magic tricks if you're a drummer and pretend this is your magic wand. I don't know. I've never done that before, but that's what they look like. So these are kind of interesting. Again, I never used these. I just thought they were unusual, and I thought it'd be cool to check these out. So, yeah, that's what these are. This was the model Orchestra, the VS41s, 15 inches long, 15 and a quarter inches long, 2.5 ounce for the pair. So that's those. All right, up next, let's do some brushes. Here's some interesting brushes by Vader. These are called the Wire Tap. I just got them kind of rubber band together here, but as you can see on one end they have the brushes, and on the other end they have the tips. So you can play with them. I played with these a little bit, a couple little marks on them, but it was weird because you have to hold this like, you know, that, and then you would play on them, and it just didn't feel right, you know. So most of the time I ended up just using them as brushes and just kind of holding on to the drumstick part right there. So kind of interesting, very unusual. You don't see that too often. So yeah, that's those. Here's another one. Now these are made by Vic Firth. These are called Dreadlocks, and they have this really weird kind of twisted, heavy rod type of brush to them. So, and they obviously they look like dreadlocks. That's where they got the name from. But very cool. The drumstick looks like this, Dreadlocks, and it makes kind of a very, very different type of sounding brush sound. It's louder than regular brushes. I urge you to, if you're playing on a softer gig, you know, doing jazz stuff, this is definitely not for that. This is for making special effects sounds with the brushes. Maybe in the next, you know, another video or something, I'll come up with and show you some ways of using these. So, yeah, pretty cool. So those were different. Next up, again, these were actually kind of like a Duratec is the company, Duratec drumsticks. These are kind of a plastic, and they're hollow. They're hollow drumsticks, and there's the logo on them. And they kind of look like I don't know, kind of a weird snake pattern or whatever like that. And the tips on them, regular, kind of ovally looking. And didn't use these at all. These are just more of a for show. But those were something from the 80s. I don't think you can buy these anymore. So that's those. Here's something for all you drummers that are square. No, just joking. For all you drummers, this is interesting. This is an actual square drumstick. This is made by Promark, called the Quattro. These are 5A. And again, they have the regular oval tip there, wooden. And they're actually square, as you can see. Very interesting. And I thought for a while I would play them, but they felt, you know, just being so used to round drumsticks in your hands and you hold these square ones, it's just kind of a different feel. Although you could put your thumb on the side and kind of make it flat, it really kind of fits really nice in your hand that way. But the rest of it, it's just kind of a weird feeling. So again, I used them for a little bit. They got beat up a little bit, but I ended up just sticking them in my drumstick bag for many years to come. So here they are. Pretty wild. Okay, here's the kind of interesting ones. Joey Kramer. These are made by Zildjian. These are, again, hickory. They've got like a little red, silvery kind of look to them. And I don't know if you can still buy these or they make them differently now. I haven't seen any newer ones, but these are the Joey Kramer, the drummer for Aerosmith. Those are pretty interesting. Again, more of an oval tip on them. Probably like a 5B, 2B, 5B, somewhere around there. You like thicker drumsticks, kind of like a Bonham. Okay, so here's some interesting ones. Dave Wackol, who I met quite a few years ago and met him quite a few times. I actually took lessons with him too for a while there. And basically, these are made by Vic Firth, and they're actually kind of like a burgundy kind of color drumstick. And after a while, he switched from burgundy, and these were a white nylon tip, kind of a smaller tip there, rounder. And so that's the Dave Wackol ones from the early, well, I'll say mid-'80s. And then here's the newer ones. And again, whole different thing. These are around the Evolution. He had videos come out called Evolution with the cymbals and all that, and so he wanted to call these the Evolution drumsticks. So they've got kind of a more of a browner, not so burgundy color to them. And again, same tip, pretty much the exact same stick. It's just a different color, that's all. But that's kind of interesting. And again, I won't use those. Here's some. These are pretty neat. Vic Firth again. The Alex Acuna. Now he would use these for timbales, so you would play them like this, because obviously the dip stick on there. It's not really grippy at all, although you think it would be, but it's just painted purple. You know, they dipped them in purple, but it's not. It doesn't have any really grip to them. But here's the Alex Acuna logo on them, and again, you would play with the wood tip here like that. That would be the end of it, and you'd hold it in your hand with the purple side. So, and these are called the World Class El Palo. So, and again, here's the logo, Alex Acuna. I met him quite a few years ago too. Really nice guy. So that's those for you timbale players. Next, another drum teacher that I actually took lessons from was Steve Smith, and these are his signature pair of sticks from Vic Firth. And again, these are kind of like somewhere between a 5A and a 5B. They're not too thick, but not too thin. So again, I didn't play on these at all because, you know, the artist series. I just like to keep those. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, here you guys, for you Slipknot fans. Obviously, Joey Jordison is no longer in Slipknot, but when he was, I had made these drumsticks for him. These are called the Joey Ones. They even have the price, it looks like, on $15.69, and there's the Slipknot logo, and of course the Joey Jordison logo on them as well. White tip, and basically what these do, these are interesting drumsticks. Very cool idea. This is actually metal, as you can hear here. this basically, you take the tip and you have to use a wrench, and I would probably use something to kind of, before you mark up the tips there, put something around it like a soft cloth, and then get a wrench and then just crank this and loosen this up. And then this black sleeve actually comes off of here, and you replace the sleeve. So when this is all, you know, marked up and used up, and you want to get a brand new feel to another drumstick, you just take this off, you slide this off, put the tip back on, tighten it up, and you're ready to go again. So these are a lot more expensive, and it's because, the reason why they're so expensive is because the technology that went into them, and also the you know, the technology of how they built these things. And just so it costs more money, and plus you don't have to spend so much on refurbishing this again, because all you have to do is just change the sleeve out. And the sleeves were like maybe $5 or $6, I think. And if you can still maybe find these online, these are the Slipknot sticks by Joey Jordison, and Ahead makes these. So very cool. These are neat. Again, I didn't use them at all because of the Artist Series. For all you Buddy Rich fans, here's another Vic Firth Artist Series. These are white. They have a very unusual tip, hardly any tip at all, it looks like. Again, these are made of wood. And the Vic Firth logo, and Buddy Rich's, basically his autograph right there. Very cool. So that's the Buddy Rich ones. Let's see what else I have here. I got these ones. These are kind of different. These are designed by Matt Savage, and these are the Johnny Rabb drumstick. These are 5A. They actually have the rubber tip is on the end, which is kind of different, and it's like a black rubber, and it's got more of a square kind of tip to it, which is interesting. But again, here's the logo. I'll turn it so you can see it there. And the Johnny Rabb, this is his drumstick, and it says Practice Pro, so I would imagine these are like a practice stick, so that's why the rubber tip on them. Again, I never used these, but I just thought they were interesting, and I bought them for the look. So that's what those are. Next, let's see what we've got here. Oh, of course, Steve Gadd's got a new book out called Gaddaments, which is something that I'm going to probably buy in the near future. Looks like a pretty interesting book on all the rudiments and how he applied them to the drum set, so that should be a good book for you guys to check out. But here's an old pair of Steve Gadd Vic Firth drumsticks. You can see there's his logo and his autograph, obviously, with the Vic Firth logo. And again, these were wood tip. No, I'm sorry. These are actually nylon tip. They did make a wood tip and a nylon tip, so he kind of used both, depending on what he was using and what artist he was playing with. So again, I met Steve Gadd quite a few times. Really nice guy. Definitely one of the greatest drummers that ever lived, as you can see. He was, if you ever get a chance to watch him play, he's amazing. His timing is unbelievable. So, yeah, that was really awesome to meet him. These basically are just kind of red drumsticks. They're kind of like stained red from Zildjian. These are just called rock sticks. And they have a black, real big black nylon tip there. Again, probably around the 5B, or no, I take it back, maybe like 2B, and somewhere in between 2B and 3B, maybe, something like that. But yeah, pretty thick sticks. I used these quite a while. Again, I stopped using them because I noticed that whenever I use black tips, they would mark up the cymbals, and I really hated marking up cymbals and drum heads and stuff like that. More so the cymbals than the drum heads, because obviously you can replace the drum heads. Cymbals you can't replace as easily as you can drum heads, and they don't cost as much. So, the next ones, these ones are kind of interesting. These are called 5A Silver Bullet, American Classic. These are by Vic Firth. I don't know if you can still get these, but these are actually silver tipped. They actually have a silver tip to them, as you can see right there. And again, here's the logo. And these are 5A. Really nice. And again, I never used these, but I actually played on them with the cymbals, and man, I'll tell you, that That silver tip really makes the ride cymbal come out, and the hi-hat, very precise, real specific sound they make. Different than obviously a wood tip or a nylon tip. But they came out with those, so those are called the Silver Bullet. And let's see, last but not least, we'll talk about these ones here. Carmine a Piece. If you guys know who he was, he's pretty much played on everybody's albums. He started with Vanilla Fudge, played along with Rod Stewart and many, many other artists as well. He's got this as a kind of a dual drumstick. This one has kind of a heavier, thicker end, and again, you can play with them, switch them around with this end and play with this tip, or you can play with the regular tip on these like that. And there's the actually has his face on them, as you can see there. And these are the Carmine a Piece, or they sometimes say Appice. So either way, whatever. I met him a couple of times. He's a really nice guy as well. So yeah, those are the Vic Firth ones. So if you guys have any questions on any of the drumsticks I showed you today, or the brushes, feel free to drop a line, and I will gladly answer any of the questions if I can. And if you guys please like and subscribe to my videos. Hope that helps me out here. It keeps me making videos for you guys. And we'll talk to you guys again real soon. Until then, you guys take care. Keep rocking. This is Joe Drums signing off. Have a good one.